treated their sitter like family. But prosecutors say Josie Ortega slaughtered the kids.
It's unimaginable. There's no word.
Slitting their throats in the bathroom and taking a knife to herself just as their mother walked in the door.
I saw Mom sitting on a chair, clutching her youngest child.
She's been sitting the kids for over 2 years, but if she's found guilty of killing them,
her screams were heard by a neighbor who alerted police.
She could spend the rest of her life sitting behind bars.
We are still talking about the babysitter accused of butchering the children in her care, and a trial 5 years in the making. Yoselin Ortega's defense told a jury today that she was in a psychotic state, while prosecutors are trying to put her in prison for life. They argued this was the result of a tragic, long and bitter grudge. Still with us, CNN producer Lawrence Crook, who was in court today. You know, Lawrence, so many families have babysitters, and this was a babysitter that was close to the family for 2 years. She had helped this family and helped the children. You had said, Lawrence, that today was the first time you learned this, that the mother, Marina, was in the same room and able to look at the babysitter defendant. What was that like? What did you see?
You're right. Not only was this the babysitter, they considered her family. And this was the first time she had seen her since that tragic day. And she made every effort she could to stare her down to the point where she was knocking into the prosecution table. She would not break eye contact with her. And, of course, Ortega, sitting at the defense table, would not return that eye contact. She got up to the witness stand, had trouble finding the seat, and just was very emotional, shaking uncontrollably. It was a mixture of laughing and crying. It was obviously a difficult situation for her. Again, the jurors started crying when they saw this. I even had a tear come down my eye. It just is unimaginable for a parent to have to go through this and sit in court, but the strength that she found to get through it was very admirable. She really wanted to. She even adjusted her seat on the witness stand so that she could get a good look at her, and she didn't break eye contact with her. She wanted her to see that she was strong, she was going to get through this, and it was very inspiring. But it was a difficult situation for her, obviously. At one point, she had to take a break and put her head in her hands, and she had a little trouble getting through it, but that's understandable given the situation.
And, you know, Lawrence, I'll tell you something. That testimony now sets the stage for this trial. It's important for an evidentiary reason because she can establish who the defendant is, to establish the identity of her children, the victims, but it sets the emotional stage as well as the legal stage for this trial. Rachel, this mental defect, the insanity defense, this is what the defense is purporting. We want to tell everybody that the husband of Marina was away on business in San Francisco. He was on a plane coming home and had no idea what had happened to his 2 children. Detectives met him at JFK Airport, took him to their home, and that's when he discovered it. But
it's unimaginable. It's unimaginable. And what I want to bring up, too, is, you know, talking about how difficult this trial was and how this mother had to summon the strength to get through it. This trial could have been avoided because there was actually an offer in this case early on, or a while ago, where this defendant could have pled guilty, and the judge actually offered to essentially undercut or offer less than what the state was offering, and it was a 30-year to life sentence, which is the minimum that would have been possible. That was over the prosecutor's objection, but, you know, I think wisely, in an attempt to avoid a heart-wrenching, gut-wrenching trial for this family, for jurors, potentially for everyone involved, and this defendant didn't accept that, and instead wanted to put forward this insanity defense and go through a trial, which in and of itself is a whole other shock to this family all over again.
Can you imagine autopsy photos and photos from that bathroom, the jury having to look at that? That's evidence. I can't
imagine any of it. I can't imagine. You know, we were talking about it. I'm a New York mom, and, you know, I remember when this happened, and it literally shocked this city and changed how people hire, you know, home workers in their home, and it shocked the city, and it continues to. And, you know, not guilty by reason of insanity is extremely difficult to win on.
Right, so. And it always means they can get out, too.